Sean Penn stars as Harvey Milk, the first openly gay man elected to major public office in Milk, the life and times of Harvey Milk, or as he's affectionately known, the mayor of Castro Street. This is a supremely great film, directed by Gus Van Sant. Was nominated for several Academy Awards, including Best Picture of the year 2008, and it won for Sean Penn's bold and wonderful performance as Harvey Milk, as well as its screenplay, written by Dustin Lance Black. So, won two major awards there, so that's pretty cool. I just think it's a wonderful film. Really kind of one of those big, inspiring types of movies. It is about gay rights. It is about human rights. Wouldn't you know it, they're the same thing. Done with such expertise from Gus Van Sant, who, as a gay director himself, you would think that he would have a certain kind of duty to present this type of material in a fair way. Not in an overly biased, overly melodramatic kind of way, but in a fair and true way, which he does here with such great skill as a director. He was nominated for Best Director, didn't win, but I would attest that this is, at least to date, Gus Van Sant's best film. And just the structure of it, the style of it, is so just melding kind of like documentary footage with its clear fictionalized portrayals with a lot of style to kind of bring all that home. So we kind of feel like it's a meld, part documentary, sort of like it shows real footage, captures kind of real moments, like when Harvey is snapping shots, taking little pieces of his life with the camera and showing the real footage, and showing very skillfully directed just kind of regular film scenes, for lack of a better word, but it is done with such a scope where we kind of sense, in his outside life, the intimacy of that, and the documentary like realism to that in his life out, where he's with his people, with all the gays, and fighting for their rights. Then you see him in public office, and it's a lot more stagnant there, and you see these big shots, these wide shots, particularly with the scenes with Josh Brolin, who plays kind of a rival, Dan White, where you see it's framed in such a way where there's just two guys, and you see the whole scope of these big buildings, where it kind of heralds a sense of there's a lot more going on here, basically. So I think Gus Van Sant is able to communicate that really well, all this style to it. And it does kind of play with that, with like the sort of documentary style to it, where much like, say, with a film like Gandhi, say, it does open letting you know that this is a real person, and letting us know that this person has been killed. They begin the movie with news footage documenting, that Harvey Milk has been assassinated. So I think it's always kind of a lot of biofilms do tend to do that, and I think it is an important kind of aspect, just to kind of right off the bat let you know this is real. This isn't some work of fiction. This is real life, and this is a real person who really did go through these experiences, more or less. I mean, Hollywood magic, whatever. With any biofilm, there's always going to be, this didn't happen, they left this out, blah blah blah, whatever. They capture the spirit, which is the important thing, and it is framed with Harvey speaking to the tape recorder, kind of documenting his life, which I think is a nice touch. Kind of, it's his own account, very, very kind of intimate, just between him and us, the audience, sitting in that room, almost in the dark, speaking to the tape recorder. This tape is not to be played unless I have been. This tape is to be played in the event of my assassination. So that's basically what it is. Kind of starts out accounting his life. A man who's he's getting older. Basically, begins on his 40th birthday, or just before his 40th birthday. he encounters who would become a major role in his life, his boyfriend, kind of on and off throughout the years. Scott, played by James Franco, where they begin the relationship there, and where he's kind of found himself. I mean, it's the gay lifestyle. Obviously, they're both kind of in the closet, sort of. They're not, out there, proclaiming it. Harvey Milk works for, I believe it was a insurance agency, so a very kind of dull life. And what kind of begins his journey is how he admits, I've just turned 40. In all my years, I haven't done really a single thing that I'm proud of. And that would come back later in the film. So it's inspiring in a sense that you can never be too old to make the change, and where the change would begin, much like with any of these, again, kind of like with Gandhi. Not that I'm comparing this movie to Gandhi, but the change begins at home. The change begins with what you encounter every day, which is what Harvey Milk and Scott, they do encounter. They encounter homophobia. They encounter threats just for being gay. They move to San Francisco. They open up the shop. And they're not treated too well, and it kind of sparks this anger, and it sparks this need for revolution in Harvey Milk, where he freely admits, "Hey, I'm a businessman. I'm going to treat this in business type of ways, schmooze with the unions, blah blah blah, all that stuff." He does so well that he does find himself in public office as a city supervisor, which is an amazing journey. And I think they capture all the little bits and pieces and progress of how he began in one place, kind of just this modest man living his life, not really troubling anyone, just staying in the closet, to this great figure, this inspiring figure, up on the soapbox with the megaphone. "My name is Harvey Milk, and I'm here to recruit you." This great speech-making, wonderful, inspiring man. So how they show that progression, and how Penn displays that transgression, or shows how he changes into this leader among people, and I think that's so well done, and it definitely doesn't really pull any punches when it comes to portraying this character. Above all else, this is a very human character, just as anybody walking the streets. He's not portrayed as this godly, wonderful person, though he does, of course, have very good scenes. With that one scene. Where the kid in the wheelchair, calls him on election night, and he's talking about wanting to kill himself because his parents are going to bring him to one of those pray the gay away kind of places, and just how despairing he is about that, and how it's a tender scene like that where he's like, there's nothing wrong with you. If this is the environment you got to get out of there, take the next bus, and then of course he gives him a call the next year saying how he changed his life. This is beautiful kind of stuff. So it has little scenes like that, but it does portray him in some ways a little bit over his head, because very much, I mean, not in any kind of unreasonable way. He's obviously on that position to push his agenda as much as possible, work for gay rights as much as possible. That's what he wants to do, and everything else kind of takes a back seat to that, which is fine. I mean, there's some very dangerous propositions out there that are going to take away, their basic human rights just because they're gay. There's great scenes, with debates with that one senator, which is really good. What is the line? We can't have gays in teaching our schools. They're going to try and make kids gay. And Harvey Milk's like, well, if children really emulated their teachers, we'd have a lot more nuns running around. So that's kind of funny. But he does have a lot of focus on that, but maybe loses sight of other things, particularly his relationships. He has the relationship with Scott that kind of crumbles, but he's still always there for support. One relationship with Diego Luna, I believe is the actor's name, where he's with him, but he's kind of just not really a serious relationship, but he becomes, depressed because he's not spending any time with him, and then, tragedy strikes there. and so through all this fighting for the rights, he doesn't have time for the very rights that he's fighting for, in kind of an ironic and tragic kind of way. And where we do sort of have the conflict here is with Dan White, who I think is portrayed brilliantly by Josh Brolin, who is fucking amazing in everything. Josh Brolin is so great, and I think the key to that character and to Brolin's portrayal of that character is that he doesn't really come off as, it's not that he's like this bigot or anything like that. He's an unstable kind of man, but not in a very obvious kind of way. We can see throughout the years and throughout the progression of this character's portrayal that he is kind of losing that kind of stability, but in a very unobvious kind of way. There's some scenes where he just kind of makes scenes. He shows up drunk to Harvey's birthday, but nothing like extremely over the top and bigoted, like as if he hates Harvey Milk because he's gay, because we don't really see him portrayed that way, which I think is important, because it's just about themselves trying to push their own agendas, help each other out, in public office. You vote for my bill, I'll vote for yours, blah, blah, blah. And in kind of a way that shows a little bit too much of pride and arrogance on Harvey Milk's part. He kind of pushes Dan White aside, and he kind of almost antagonizes him a little bit, where we kind of almost see Dan White's sort of point of view. It's not really a personal, religious, sexual orientation based hatred that he has for him, or that it even is a hatred that he has for him. It is kind of a career motivated rivalry that they have, because meanwhile he's helping Harvey Milk out, but not vice versa. So I think the portrayal is really well done, and I think the fact that they don't make this character a very stereotypical kind of a biased, bigot, homophobic asshole, I think is great. So that kind of brings just more kind of like a realism to the movie, so we don't feel like it's too over the top, cheesy, anything like that. It just wouldn't work as well, I don't think, if like say we had a scene where the two confront. He's like, oh, I don't agree with what you're doing, I don't think a man and man should be together, I don't like you. No, nothing like that. But yeah, Brolin's great, and he was nominated for an Oscar too, for Best Supporting Actor, and rightly so. Great performances all around, really. I mean, we have James Franco, who's great, Emile Hirsch, who's great, possibly the most overlooked performance in this movie, Alison Pill, playing Anne Cronenberg, who kind of comes in and just rustles shit around. She knows what she's getting into. She's the big butch in the room full of gay guys, and she's it's the man's clubhouse that she's kind of trying to run here. Alison Pill is so wonderful in this movie. I think she should have been nominated for an Oscar for this. It's a smaller role, but I really do think that she should have gotten some awards attention. I think it's a brilliant performance, just great all around. Again, Gus Van Sant, his direction is just on point, pitch perfect, displaying this great story and this inspiring story, and with such a scope to it. It does make it kind of like this epic movie, because there's so much going on, so much of the documentary realism, comparing to the big scopes of the large crowd scenes and the big debates and everything like that. And you kind of think about where this guy started out so modestly, little back rooms, little gatherings. By the end of the movie, he has his own office. He has his own team working for him. That is a beautiful and inspiring thing. So I just think it's a great movie, absolutely great. Should it have won Best Picture? Yeah, I think so. What won that year? Slumdog Millionaire won that year. I like that movie, but Milk is definitely better. I would say Yeah, of all the movies nominated, well, we had the Reader, we had Frost Nixon, Milk, Slumdog Millionaire, and Benjamin Button. Definitely Milk, I would say, is the best among them. Probably one of the best movies of recent years, actually. Just such a wonderful film. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. Sean Penn, brilliant in this movie. Gus Van Sant's best, in my opinion. Just a great film. So yeah, I guess that's my review of Milk, a great movie. Hope you enjoyed watching. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. What do you think of Milk? What do you think of Sean Penn? Should he have won, or was that Mickey Rourke's Oscar that he took away for The Wrestler? I don't know. They're both kind of good. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to me, so that'd be great. And happy Valentine's Day. It's February 14th, 2015. It's the day of love. Love should be celebrated. A man can love a woman. A man can love a man. A woman can love a woman. There should be no shame in your love. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.